All right. Thank you, Prophetess Natasha. I'm glad you told me you can't hear anything. I'm just sitting up here talking. So I'm so glad you told me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Man, I'm just talking and giving all of this good information. So let me start back again. Hello, I'm G. Hightower, the Entanglement Coach. Welcome to Real Love Day celebration. It's February 14th, 2022. The world calls it Valentine's Day. I like to call it Real Love Day, y'all, because if we're going to have healthy love relationships, then it has to be real, right? And so we define real love or a healthy love relationship. Hey, Niche, good to see you, dear. We define a healthy love relationship as one man and one woman. Now, I know today there are people who have a myriad of different types of experiences, and you're entitled to have the experience that you desire. But God, who is love, designed one man and one woman to come together in oneness. And that's a healthy love relationship. And I think that even though we all have our right to do whatever you want to do, practice whatever kind of relationship you want to practice, I believe that the way God designed it is the best design. So I want that model, the one that God designed. All right. Is that all right? Listen, shout out to everyone coming in the room. Blessings on you all. I see you. Hey, Miss Ulysses, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. Christina, good to see you. Listen, so Christine, to everyone in the room. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Michelle, you know you got to join me. Michelle Applewhite, you know you got to join me. All right, Michelle, I am calling on you. Matter of fact, I'm sending you a link right now, Michelle. And I know you're camera ready because you always look good. So don't be fronting. Come on in and join your boy. I'm sending you a link right now, Michelle. All right. Apostle CC is in the building. Blessings on you. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Michelle, check your inbox. I'm sending you a link right now for you to join me. You all give me another second or two. Thank you all for coming in, fam. I appreciate you. Listen, tonight is going to be real fun. And we came on tonight specifically to encourage some people tonight because I am well aware that a lot of us who are single, many people have become so discouraged and so frustrated because you don't have a relationship yet. You're not booed up yet. And all of that kind of stuff. I get it. I promise you I do. But listen, let me encourage all the single people, get your hands up. Listen, let me encourage all the single people tonight. Don't worry. Listen, if you really desire real love in your life, I promise you God is ready to bless you. Now, I know some of you would say, well, Dr. G, you just don't know. I've been single for a long time. I'm out here single as a jaybird. Listen, there's a mindset shift that we all must have in order to have the real love that you desire. All right. We just got to make some shifts in our mind. We got to shift in our thinking. Some of y'all, a lot of y'all on the other side of 40, you are saying things like this. Well, I'm not changing. Whoever's going to be with me got to love me the way I am because I ain't changing for nobody. Well, guess what? Hello? That's not going to be good for you, sir, ma'am, because listen, anyone who says they're not going to change is also saying, and my daddy always taught me this, he said, son, read between the lines. So I'm always listening for what people are saying and what they are not saying. So parenthetically speaking, when someone says, I ain't changing for nobody, I ain't trying to change. Listen here, baby, I'm already on the other side of 40 and I ain't changing for nobody. I'm set in my ways. Yeah, when a person says that, they're also saying, I'm not willing to grow because growth requires change. And anyone who says that I ain't changing is saying I ain't growing. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You don't want to be connected to somebody who's not willing to change. Come on, Miss Angel. Angel by God. Listen, you do have to be willing to change. And if you're not willing to change, then you're not willing to grow. Who wants to be with somebody who's not growing, who's not changing? All right. So listen, come on, Christine. Christine, you can join me. Come on. Listen, Christine, you can join me since you all dressed up with your diamonds and pearls. Come on. So what we did tonight, family, let me explain real quick as you all are coming in the room, and please make sure you hit that share button right there, y'all. Let's get some folks in on this broadcast. We got to help some people in here tonight. All right. Listen, what we did, we were going to do a Zoom, but I found out that there was a lot of people who could not get on Zoom, didn't have the capacity to get on Zoom because they only have their laptops and they were unable to get on Zoom. So I said, well, I don't want anybody to miss out on our Real Love celebration tonight. So boom, we're right here on Facebook Live. I'm also live on YouTube. For those of you who follow me on YouTube, I'm live on YouTube as well because I didn't want anybody to miss out tonight by somebody didn't get the link, somebody didn't get the email. Oh my God, I missed out Pastor G. So I didn't want nobody to miss it. So we just came right here, Facebook Live, and we are with it tonight. All right. Let's see. My girl Michelle Applewhite is going to join us. I'm going to send Christine. Christine, I'm going to send you a link so you can join me live as well, Christine. Let's see. Stand by. Christine, I'm sending you a link to your inbox. So stand by. And then you can join me live as well. All right. Now, I can have a couple of different people. I can have up to 3 guests at a time. So if you want to join me live, just let me know and I will send you a link so you can join me here live for our Real Love celebration. All right, Christine. So I sent you the link so you can check your Facebook inbox. Mona, you should come join me, Mona. Mona, come on and join me. All right. Hey, Sandra Fabiola, good to see you. Veronica, good to see you. Blessings to you. Veronica said it's a headache. What part is a headache, Veronica? What, trying to find the Zoom link and all of that? Miss Niche, you can join me as well. Yeah. She said she got her diamonds and pearls on. So I said, okay, Christine, put your diamonds on, honey. Listen. Because we got some men watching the broadcast, and you never know, ladies. This is why it's important when you go public, when you are live, or when you go out in the public. I don't care even if you're going to Walmart. It's always important to have good presentation. Now that doesn't mean you have to get your hair whipped and all of that, but ladies, please don't go outside wearing house slippers. Come on, ladies, we got to do better. Come on, 2022, we got to do better. All right. You going out there. Well, I'm just going to Walmart real quick. I don't feel like putting no shoes on and all that. So you go out in some sliders and putting on grandmama house shoes. Slide across the. Listen, ladies, I promise you, if we see you walking in Walmart and you have a bonnet on your head and you got some sliders on, I promise you, honey, we're not going to holler. Because I'm already thinking. Christine, honey, follow the instructions, sweetie. Look at your inbox, and all you got to do is follow the instructions. Follow the instructions, because I know that I just sent it, and it should work. Let me double check. Boom. Okay, yeah, Christine, you haven't even opened it. Check your Facebook inbox, Christine. Y'all got to learn to follow instructions. Praise God. All right. Yeah, Michelle, house slippers are a no-no, okay? Listen, I don't know what in the world we be thinking. Brothers, listen, y'all terrible too. Brothers, y'all be coming out with sandals on and all this here, sandals and all. Listen, brothers, let me help you here. Listen, you're sagging your pants. You got a doggone wave cap on, brothers. That is not a cool way to go out in the public. Okay, brothers. All right. Let me help y'all in here tonight. So listen, listen, I'm going to bring my girl, Michelle Applewhite. She's going to join me here in the broadcast. Michelle, what's going on?
I'm doing good. Super excited. I do not know what I'm walking into, though.
This is true. You do not know what you're walking into.
Oh my God.
Listen, But one thing is sure, we always keep it rated double R, righteous and real. So it's going to be a good time, Michelle. I'm so glad that you joined me here. Welcome to the Late Night Love Chat.
Thank you.
Michelle Applewhite, one of the most phenomenal women of God anywhere. She has her own show, podcast as well. We're going to chop it up tonight, Michelle. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about love. And we're going to talk about a very important growing concern among men and women in the kingdom. And that is, how do we determine, Michelle? Let's just jump right into it. How do we determine if we're sexually compatible without actually having sex? We need to chop it up on that topic. Michelle said, oh, wait a minute. Oh, my God. What did I really walk into? Oh, my God.
Well, no, I'm always keeping it 100, so I'm all ready for this.
Listen, so we're going to chop it up. But first, before we get deep, listen, I need everybody in the broadcast. I need everybody to hit that share button right there. Hit that share button, and let's get some folks in here tonight. We got to help some people, y'all. You know, people are sitting up there lonely and frustrated and all this here, sad and depressed. You know, I ain't got no boo, and I'm just tired in 2022. I ain't got no boo. Listen, let me help y'all. You know why God keeps many of us single? Because God wants to work on us. He wants to complete a process in us so that we are prepared for our purpose partner. You got to be prepared. Come on. Listen, you know you got to change some stuff about yourself. If there are no significant changes that you've made within the last 2 years during the pandemic, then listen, change is absolutely necessary. Listen, most of us, Michelle, we've put on some pandemic pounds. Some of us still got some attitudes that need to shift. Come on, y'all. Some of us we still got a quick temper, a quick tongue. You don't know how to hold your peace.
So true.
You don't have any filter on the things that you say. Come on, brothers, I got to pull up on my brothers. Brothers, some of us think that just because we see something that we got to say something. You ain't got to say everything you see. Sometimes, brothers, you need to just lay back in the cut. All right. We don't have to address everything. When you start doing that, listen, even a person who may love you to life will they will not want you in their life if every time I talk to you, you have some critical observation to make.
Good stuff.
Something I'm not doing right. Something I did wrong. Something I overlooked. Something. Oh, you missed that. How did you miss that? Listen, I'm sorry, Michelle. I need people to answer the question, when did God die and put them on the throne? I'm just trying to figure it out. I mean, did the Lord pass away? Did we miss the Lord's funeral?
That part.
Did the Lord pass away and put some folks on the throne? Because if we understand that we're all subject to fall short and make mistakes, then what we must not do, Michelle, and this is a part of what real love is. Real love should always be seeking to build up and not tear down.
That's good.
Right. And so with that said, it doesn't mean that we don't make constructive criticism. It doesn't mean, listen, as a man and as a man who's in leadership, I want you to pull my coattail and say, yo, hey, Dr. G, hey, G, let me pull you to the curb real quick. That right there is not going to work. Hey, how you said that wasn't good. Hey, how you did that didn't come out well. And then I'm like, okay, well, how can I do it better? You know what I mean? So constructive criticism is important, but we should always, Michelle, and I want to pitch this to you, we should always be seeking to more often build up with our words and offer words of praise and affirmation rather than words of criticism and tearing each other down. What do you think about that, Michelle?
Okay, so I want to say something. I'm a firm believer as in starting with yourself. Most people don't love themselves. So if you don't love yourself, you can't give love to someone else. I tell a lot of women, I said, I look in the mirror every day and I say, I'm fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. I'm a designer's original. Even if I don't believe it at that moment, we got to realize that words have life. It's power and death, it's power and death in the tongue. And so when you're speaking it to yourself and you're building yourself up, then that way you can have the motivation to speak it to someone else. So if you don't believe it about yourself, how are you going to say it to someone else?
My God in heaven.
Just my thought.
Yeah. So Michelle, let me ask this question, because I know a lot of men have this question at heart from the women, and you can really answer this question. And good evening to everybody coming in Facebook land, coming in on YouTube. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much for coming in. Y'all sit back and relax. You might want to get a notepad or your iPad or get some post-it notes, because we're gonna be getting deep. Because my girl Michelle Applewhite, she about to drop some nuggets up in here.
I was not prepared for this one. Wait a minute.
Listen, Michelle, you always ready to talk about love. You know how we do it. Listen, you can wake us up out of a dead sleep and we can drop some wisdom. Come on. Good to see everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in. All right. So listen, here's what's up. So Michelle, the men want to know this. Why is it that as we begin dating, as we begin the process of dating and discovery, I always talk about, Michelle, that dating is for discovery. So in the initial phase of the relationship, let's say the first 90 days, and we're getting to know each other, we're getting ready, we're getting to discover each other. A lot of men want to know, why aren't women as willing to be accountable for what they do and say as much as they want us to be accountable for what we do and say? A lot of men are saying this, that she wants me to own up to my shortcomings, but she doesn't own up to hers. There's always a justifiable reason as to why she didn't pull her in, or why she didn't come through, or why she was late, or why she didn't honor her commitment. You know, there's always a justifiable reason, instead of saying, you know what, my bad, I messed up on that one. So accountability. Michelle, can you help us with that? Because I find that not always, but many times, women have a double standard. Can you please help us with that, Michelle? The brother, listen,
I don't know.
They're not gonna comment. I got one brother in here. I got about 5 brothers who are on, maybe 10, but I only got 1 or 2 brothers who are actually gonna comment. Please help us with that, Michelle.
I don't know if I can, because most women, like as myself, I am accountable. You know what I mean?
Most women are accountable?
Yes, I don't know who you've been dating, but listen, most women will step up to the plate and say, I've noticed that women do it more than men. You know, hey, babe, I was late. I apologize. But a man is just going to I don't know. I can't help you. I can't help you with that one, because it's not all women. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't say I don't like making blanket
doing crazy stuff. We're so used to men doing crazy stuff anyway.
No, I agree with you, Michelle, and I don't like making blanket statements, because no group on the planet are monolithic, right? So we can't ever say, honestly, all men, all women, all white folk, all black folk. We can't ever make that statement, because it's just not true. That may be how you feel, that may be your personal experience, but it's not a statement of truth. But that said, Michelle, can you at least speak to a double standard? I do agree with you. I personally agree about the accountability factor, but I do also know that there are double standards, where there are situations where an expectation is made, and then, you know, that same thing is not reciprocated. So I know you can speak to that, Michelle, because I can speak to that.
I think normally, because women, we're soft and we're dainty, and we just expect for the men to always cater to us. Now, I'm not that way, but most women, we expect for the men to cater to us. So if we make a mistake or what have you, we don't want you down our throat, you know, just pointing at us, you wrong, you wrong, you wrong. We expect for you to just give us another chance. Does that make sense? So we expect for you guys to open the door. We expect for you, I mean, like, we just figured old school way, new school way. And some of us women, we believe in the old school way.
I do agree with that. Yeah, no, listen, I believe in the old school way too. I am old school. You know, I always say like this, Michelle, I am an old school brother with new school ways. So I do believe in some of the new school principles, because we should always be evolving. But I'm rooted in some of the rich traditions that men should do for women, you know, like opening the door, like if, you know, you step outside and, you know, it's raining, brothers, take your coat off and give it to that woman, you know, things like that, things that my dad instilled in me, and things, you know, those are just principles that are timeless. It should never go away. way.
So now don't get it twisted. We know how to do it ourselves. We do know how to do it ourselves. And I think for women, we've got to put balance in our life, because now it's a lot of women out here who have been single for so long, or it's women out there who are out trying to, get that degree and all of that kind of stuff, that when a man comes, some women expect for the man, if he's not there, to come up to where she is. I just believe in being soft and dainty and being in the place of a woman. Now, as far as respecting that individual, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, because I'm not married. I'm single. I've been on my own for a long time. I don't have a problem with being submissive, but right now in my life, there's no one to be submissive to. I am that strong woman. But I was telling somebody on the other day, I said, I would love for a strong man to come in my life that I can be submissive to, that he says, no, baby, not today. I'm not going to fuss. All right, honey, I'll do that. But right now, I'm just a strong person. So I think a lot of women, we're just so strong, so used to doing it on our own.
Yeah, and that speaks to what I said at the outset of the broadcast before you came in, Michelle. I talked about the importance for all of us, men and women, that you must be willing to change, because growth requires change. You cannot grow if you're not willing to make changes in your life. All right. That's just for you on a personal level. That's not changing for someone. That is not changing because of someone. That's just changing because I want to be a better person. Right. And when we become a better person, then we can make better relationship choices. Right. There was one sister, I will definitely not mention her name. But she said, now this was in a clubhouse room, Michelle. She said that she's still sexy, even though she's close to being 300 pounds. Okay. I will not say that women who are 300 pounds or over are not sexy. I will never say that. I will say that most men are not going to be attracted to a woman who's 300 pounds. We got to go. We're going to the movie theater. The escalator's broke. We got to go up a flight of stairs. Sugar, can you make it up the flight of stairs?
Let me say something, okay? Yes, ma'am, please. So first of all, I don't know who she is, but as another woman, I applaud her. And I applaud her for having very strong self-esteem.
Okay.
Living in a world where people will try to snatch your self-esteem. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? And believe it or not, you may not be that man, but it's someone that will love that big fluffy woman. It is someone out
Absolutely.
there. It is someone out there who I'm quite sure she probably ran in contact with someone who has made her feel that she is a diamond. You know what I mean? It is some men out there who like big women. I was with a guy who, this is when I had cancer and I was smaller, and he told me I was too little for him. I was too small for him.
Wow.
And it kind of messed me up. My mindset, like, oh my God, now every man doesn't want a small woman.
Right.
So it's your preference.
Let me say this, Michelle, just to be clear, because I want all of my audience, because my audience is really diverse. So I want to be very clear. I love, respect, and appreciate all women. And for women who are plus size or, thick and curvy, whatever the description is that women are calling themselves nowadays, because you always have to be evolving with what women are saying about themselves. When I was growing up, Michelle, if you called a woman a B, them was fighting words. Now, women refer to themselves as Bs. I will never do it. I don't care what a woman calls herself. I'm never going to call a woman a B. But women refer to them as, hey, B, what's up, B? And it's like, oh my God, did she just call her best friend a B in public? Like, wow. And I'm talking about Christian women too. But I will say this, Michelle, that I totally agree with you. And I love telling this story about Monique. Before Monique lost weight, I was at the Hoodie Awards and I'm on the red carpet and I get introduced to Monique, and Monique came and gave me a big old hug. And I mean, she is such a beautiful, confident, very sexy woman. And guess what? Because of how Monique carries herself with such a high level of confidence, there were more men standing in a line
That part.
waiting to hug and take a picture with Monique more so than all the other beautiful, model-esque women that were also on the red carpet. Like more men were waiting, like, man, I want to get a picture with Monique. Man, I want to get a hug from Monique. And at that time, Monique was over 300 pounds. And so, or close to it. So I'm just really happy for any woman who is confident in where she is. But here's my point, Michelle. If a woman says that I've got to have, if she's 300 pounds and she says, I've got to have a man who has a body like Morris Chestnut or a man that had, and so here's what I want to say to all the ladies and gentlemen on the broadcast. Be what you want to see.
Good.
Is it possible for you to have somebody like that? Absolutely. God, listen, with God, all things are possible. But in the way that the world works, especially our society here in America, usually people are going to be attracted to someone who is a very similar or compatible match for themselves. This is one of the reasons why I teach the principle, Michelle, about COP, compatibility of purpose. It's not so much a look, but that our purposes should be aligned and complement each other, right?
Yeah.
And so with that, if you are a woman who is 300 pounds or over, usually most men, not all, because there are some men who are strongly attracted to that type of woman, but most men who are fit and they're taking good care of their bodies, they're not going to be drawn to that. And what I really want to speak to more so about personal development, being the best version of yourself, is that fitness is an absolute significant part of us fulfilling our purpose. Because Michelle, if I'm not physically fit, how am I going to do what God put me on the earth to do? How am I going to accomplish it all?
Yeah.
All right. I remember I was, I'll say this real quick and I want to pitch it back to you. And I see Christine is in here. She's in the waiting room. So I'm going to bring Christine up in a minute, but I'm going to pitch this back to you about personal development, Michelle, because you are an expert in the area of personal development, inspiration, with your show, Keeping It 100, as well as other things that you do in business and in ministry. And so I want you to speak to this issue, Michelle, about personal development, because I remember at a point when I wasn't getting enough rest and my body began to break down and they rushed me to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack at 40. They're rushing me to the hospital. And the doctors, and I thought I was having a heart attack too. And the doctors basically said, you're not getting enough sleep. And the doctor put me on strict restriction that I couldn't preach for 2 weeks, couldn't do nothing, couldn't travel, couldn't do anything for 2 weeks. They just wanted me practically on bed rest.
Wow.
They kept me in a hospital for a day or two, and then I had to go home and had to be on bed rest. And so it's so vitally important for us to take care of ourselves. Can you talk about that, Michelle, in terms of how we ever draw the right person to us, that we need to be the best version of ourselves, spiritually, physically, financially?
That is so good. Listen, first of all, you've got to believe in yourself. That's one thing I've been learning over the years. Believe in yourself. Believe in who God has created you to be. You may not meet up to be like the Joneses. That's not the way that God ordained it. Some people have very low self-esteem. Take that moment, I say, as in being single, and work on you. Work on you first. You know what I mean? Deal with the unforgiveness. Any unforgiveness from past relationships or when you were molested or when you were raped, like take the moment and deal with those things, because if you don't deal with those things, it will affect you in body, mind, and soul. And you don't want to bring that into another relationship. The anxiety, deal with anxiety. I deal with that a lot. These are moments I'm talking about when you are single or when you are by yourself. Take those moments and again, look in the mirror. And you check you know you better than anybody else. You know your flaws, you know your weaknesses, you know your hang up. Deal with those things because it's very important. If you don't, listen, even though it's in the mind, it will affect the body. I had cancer 4 times, 12 chemo, 7 radiation, 2 operation. I lost my hair. I lost a lot of my eyesight, my memory, all that kind of stuff. And most of it came from holding on to unforgiveness. You know what I mean? I wasn't eating right. I wasn't thinking right. Even now the doctors are telling me that I have lupus. So I am checking what's going on with me on the inside. that I can clean up, that I can work on. Because if you don't work on you, if you don't help yourself heal, your body is going to shut down. Point blank, period. Your
Right.
body, like even with depression, a lot of people deal with depression and they say, well, no, I'm not depressed. I'm not this. And your body is saying, hey, boo, we depressed here. You don't want to
Right.
get out of the bed. You want company, but you don't want company. You know, you all, that's your body saying, hey, something is going on. Something is going on with you. So I just say, just pay attention to you. You know, pay attention to things that are changing on the inside. It is so, so, so very important because listen, your body, it will shut down on you. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Michelle, listen, listen, those of you that are on Facebook, those of you that are on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us, family. Listen, hit that share button and let's get some folks in here. YouTube viewers, y'all, let's get some people. Share the broadcast. We got to help some people. Listen, we're going to talk about right now. I want to shift and I want to talk about the freedom of forgiveness. The freedom of forgiveness. Okay. I want to shift. I just, those of y'all that are connected to me, your brother G Hightower, I'm always being sensitive to the spirit. All right. So listen, hit that share button. Come on, Facebook. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for sharing. Thank all of you. Thank you, Donna B. I appreciate you. My brother, Prophet Dwayne Woods is in the building. What's up, Dwayne? Thanks for coming in, brother. I appreciate you. My brother Dwayne is at work, but he's supporting his brother anyway. So listen, just before I bring Christine in, hey, bless you, Dr. Clara. Thank you. Listen, Dr. Clara knows about this as well. And Dr. Clara, you are certainly welcome to join the broadcast, Dr. Clara. I will send you a link. Let me know if you want to join, because Dr. Clara, who has been through some abusive situations herself, she can really minister to this. But Michelle, I'm blessed to have you here tonight. You've been through some things where you had to learn to forgive and learn to walk in love to even someone who was not lovable. My question, Michelle, how did you get to a place of forgiving? And then how did you learn that the cancer that was in your body was directly connected to unforgiveness that you were holding on to?
Oh, that's a power-packed question. Okay, so again, like I said, I had cancer 4 times. And so I went through a process each 4 times. I knew that I was holding on to unforgiveness because I said I had been raped and I had been molested. I had a lot of crazy relationships. I was homeless. Like I had a lot that was going on. But the main thing is that my 3-year-old was killed by the hands of a babysitter. And the church told me, don't cry about it. Let the dead bury the dead and all this kind of stuff. So I didn't know how to go through. I didn't know how to grieve. You know what I mean? And so I held it all on the inside. And I'm trying to raise a daughter. And we're going through court, a whole year of court. And so I did not know how to deal with the emotions. I didn't know how to deal with the anger. I didn't know how to deal with the rage. I didn't know how to deal with the unforgiveness. All I knew how to do was go to church, praise the Lord, dance in front of your enemy, no weapon formed against me. That's what I was conditioned to do. And so I always want to say I became a hypocrite not knowing it, but I became an alcoholic in the church. And when there was moments when the rage and the anger, because I didn't know how to let it go, became so overwhelming that I became a bully, where I would leave church and at night, if I was dealing with emotional things, and this is my testimony, it's not the greatest, but it is my testimony, I would just randomly find somebody on the beach and just whip the behind. I mean, I would just beat people.
You would do what, Michelle?
I would whip their behind. Like I literally, and I'm not saying that to brag, this is my testimony. I was a bully because I did not know how to direct my anger. I didn't know how to direct my unforgiveness. I didn't know how to direct the hatred, but yet I'm still going to church. I'm still praising the Lord. I'm still trying to do this salvation thing. And then I'm drinking. I was jacked up. And so when I realized that I had cancer and the doctor was telling me, I need to learn how to release. I need to learn how to let things go that's on the inside of me because that played a part. And so I just started going through different processes. I started taking long rides. I started writing. I didn't have friends. I had friends, but I didn't trust to let people in so that they would know who the real me was, because I only wanted them to see the strong the strong person. And so I dealt with unforgiveness and anger and rage behind closed doors. And I did it for years, and I did it for years. And then after a while, when I realized that I was down to 98 pounds, and I just was like,
you were down to what, Michelle?
I was down to 98 pounds. My jaws were sinking. Now, this is a bad day. I'm really a cute girl, but today is...
Michelle, you look wonderful. You listen, people have been complimenting your glasses. People have been talking about how pretty your smile is and everything. Keep going.
But so until I learned to love me, you know what I mean? I learned to love me, and I learned that nobody's going to be there. I'm a preacher's kid. Nobody's going to be there for me. So I've got to be there for me. I'm hiding from the church. I'm hiding from my family. I'm hiding from the child that I'm raising, and I'm fighting a war by myself.
My
that
God.
I chose to be in. And so finally I just decided, you know what? I can't do this no more. I give up. I give up. And so year by year, I just started working on, first of all, I forgave myself. I forgave myself. And then I had to go back. I couldn't go back to the people that I beat up, because I really beat. For me, that was a way. Listen, I'm 52 now, 2 years old now, and I was going through some things last year. So I went and bought a punching bag and put it on the back of my porch, and I put gloves on, and I'm punching. So now this is my new way of releasing, because I can't get it out. Because if I don't get it out, I don't know what I might do. So I learned how to give it out. I learned to release. And long story short, the guy that killed my son happened to pop up at my parents' church. And I had always prayed, God, listen, don't let him come. And so I'm ready to forgive. Because I don't know, if I'm already beat up other people, imagine what I would do to him.
Exactly.
But he walked into the church, and at that moment he walked into the church, I went to the bathroom because I didn't know what was going to go on the inside. I didn't know whether I was going to manifest or have demons or what.
Right.
I ran to the bathroom, and then I get a knock on the door, and they say, hey, Shell, your mom said, can you come out? And so out of obedience only, I came out, because I'm trying to figure out how the heck did he even come to the church? Why is he here? And this was years afterwards. And so I came, and she asked me to stand beside her. I'm saying, this woman asking for a whole lot of stuff right now. But I knew it was God. I knew that was the moment of my deliverance and of my freedom, because I've been asking for it. Stood beside him. And
your mother, let's slow it down, Michelle, so we can make sure everybody is with us.
Okay.
So this man who is responsible for killing your 3-year-old son, years later, he comes to the church. Randomly. First of all, my first question is, why is he even out of jail? And did he ever go to jail? Was he ever prosecuted?
He was a minor at that time. I think it was just about to turn 16. And listen, it's so much to the story. We don't have.
Yeah, I know there's a whole lot to unpack. So the bottom line is, he was never prosecuted because he was a minor. He was
prosecuted. He went to I think a Stevenson home. Like a juvenile something, and they said he had to stay there until he was 21. After he turned 21, I guess he left and went out of the town that we were in. So I had not seen him the whole time. So, and I know that was God working on me. So the whole time after court, we went to court for a whole year. People were outside with their signs, picketing. It was just so much that was going on. So he was prosecuted, but as a minor.
Okay. So now this is fast forward now. So he's sent off into a juvenile detention center, some kind of juvenile detention home. And then after he gets out, he leaves the city where all of this took place with your son.
I was hunting for him. Yes, he left.
Right. And so now this fast forward, this is what, 6 years later?
Yes. 6
years later, this same young man shows up at your church, at the church where you were attending. You were hoping this meeting would never take place, because you're ready to not lay hands, but you're ready to put them hands on.
Because I did not have the full conclusion of the matter. I didn't know everything that happened. You see what I'm saying? So it was so much packed to it, where I'm as a mother who's trying to figure out what's going on. There was no closure. That's what I'm saying. There was no closure. So I still was stuck with wanting to know what happened. And I had no answer. I still have no answers.
So now here you are at church. You go to the bathroom because you're like, oh my God, I'm not ready to deal with this. And your mother requests you, practically demands that you come out and come back in the service and stand next to the young man.
Well, wait a minute. So now at this point, I've already been through my deliverance.
Okay.
I've already been through releasing the unforgiveness. I've been through everything, whatever the process I needed to go through. I had went through that process. So now I'm in church. I'm delivered. Okay. You got to make sure you add that. I'm delivered. Okay.
You're delivered. You're in a church. And had you already
healing.
had 1 or 2 bouts with cancer by this time?
I had 2. I had 2.
You had 2 bouts with cancer.
Yes.
And you've gone through chemotherapy. So you've gone through a physical deliverance. You've gone through a mental and emotional deliverance and restoration. And you've gone through a spiritual deliverance.
And I'm in a good place now.
You're in a place of peace concerning the whole thing.
I thought.
And so you're in the service. Mom tells you, girl, come on out of there and come in back in this service. And then what happens?
Okay, so because my mother is the prophetic voice of my life, she has walked me through cancer. She knew I was holding on to unforgiveness, and my church was very supportive. And I really believe she knew that this was God. So she calls. I just ran. I went to the bathroom to hide because I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do to this dude. And when she calls me back and she's talking, I know that God is speaking through her because I can feel it. And I'm standing there, and I'm waiting to feel rage. I'm waiting to feel anger. I'm waiting to feel all this stuff. I felt nothing. I felt no hatred. I felt no bitter. I felt like I literally felt nothing as I'm standing there. And so then she prays for both of us, and he turns around and we embrace each other. This is a person that killed my son. He was a babysitter. So we embrace each other. And as we embrace each other, my mother prays for us. We both fall out slain in the spirit. Like hugging. It was so crazy. Like we both fell out hugging each other. And this dude is just crying. I mean, he's crying like a little kid. And I'm laying down on the ground or on the floor, and I'm praying for him. I'm interceding on his behalf. Like, Lord, heal him. Lord, I'm just like really travailing for him, for what he's going through. And we get up. I leave church, the anointing is left, and I'm like, y'all, excuse me, what the hell just happened?
Right.
And that's when the anointing lifts. And so even with that, as I'm riding 45 minutes home, even though that was the beginning of my process, the beginning of my breakthrough, there was still some residue of some things. You know what I mean? And so years would go by and I would see him. I was able to hold maybe 5-10 minute conversation, but I wasn't able to be right up underneath of him. You know what I mean? So it took a process because there were still some things that I wasn't letting go. So God was making room for me to be healed, but I still was holding on to it because there was some unsurety. There was some stuff that I needed answer. And I told him that one last time. I said, hey, I think we need to talk. I've got some answers. There's some things I want to know. And he said he would do it. It never happened. So now I'm left with a choice of, do I hold on and be sick, or do I release myself and move forward? And so I just decided to say, you know what, God, I really want to know the answers. I really want to know what happened, what's going on, but I cannot stay mentally and physically stuck here because it's making me sick. And he's preaching and shouting, and I'm still stuck right here holding on to this, waiting for him to give me my release. So I just snatched my release myself and got free. So now we operate like when I see him, I've preached and laid hands and prayed for him. He comes to my mom and them's church every now and then, and I'm good. I learned to forgive and ask the Lord to help me help me heal in areas where it's still wounded. I think about it. I do. I think
about it from time to time. Wow. Michelle, this is such a powerful testimony of the intestinal fortitude that is within you. So I want to, as your friend and as your brother in Christ, I want to salute you, Queen, because this is absolutely amazing. You have done and are yet doing what 95% of the people in the world would not be able to do. And we are only able to do it with the love of God operating in us. That is it.
Right, because it has affected other relationships. You know what I mean? Like I used to be always a people's person. I'm very shut in now. I like my privacy, and I'm asking the Lord now, help me in this area because it stemmed from that.
Yes. Wow. So from that situation, you have seen it have a direct or indirect impact on other relationships, how you go in to having other relationships. Do you feel, Michelle, that there's a part of your heart that's kind of shut down, where even though you want to have love, you kind of are reserved because it's like, I don't know if my heart is really ready to trust? Come back, Michelle. Come back. Come
No,
back.
listen, that is such a good question. And it's not just based upon the death of my son. It's based upon a lot of stuff, being raped, being molested, all of that kind of stuff. And I've let it go. But I don't know whether my heart is reserved. There's been moments where my heart has been just on ice, just chill. I was telling some people on last week on the show, I used to ghost people. Like when it would seem like it was getting too good, or they were really saying they really love me, I didn't trust that relationship, and so I left. I'm gone, but yet I'm still saying, God, I need love. God, I want somebody to be there, and I really do. Today I sat here in my house. Today it's Valentine's Day, and I'm saying, you know what, I ain't going out there because I don't want to see people all hugged up. I don't want to see people booed up, but I'm really in a good place. But I didn't want because we have triggers. We have things that will trigger us off. And so I didn't want any triggers or anything like that. And so I was praying and I said, God, listen, please put me in a place where I trust relationship. Because I've done some things. I've done some things. I've been in some relationship. I've been with other people's people. You know what I mean? And even though I walked through that process of forgiveness, there's still a spot where I don't trust. And so I'm asking the Lord, God, help me to trust, because I'm sitting here and it's a lot of people. I've got flowers and everything that were sent to me on today. But to give myself to an individual, I don't know. And so I'm saying, there's areas that I need to be whole before I can give myself completely to another individual, if that makes sense. I care about me. I love me. I want me healthy, because it says to be a help me. I don't want to be to him broken. And I feel like if I'm doing the work, I'm hoping my mate is somewhere doing the work as well. Did I answer your question?
You did. You did, Michelle. Listen, you have been absolutely wonderful. Listen, Facebook fam, YouTube family, listen, I need you all to hit that share button, y'all. Do you hear this richness that we're hearing, this powerful story? What we're talking about tonight, family, and God just literally shifted our broadcast. But what we're talking about the freedom of forgiveness. And as a part of that, understanding the necessity of forgiveness, we're also talking about what one needs to do to prepare your heart to love again. Listen, I want to say this to all my gentlemen, all my ladies that are in this broadcast. Listen, please understand, for those of us who are single, and I'll even share this with married folks, those of you who are in committed relationships, engaged and married, all of us, in order for your relationship to operate at its best, in order for your relationship to be fruitful and flourishing, where you feel the love between each other. And we're going to have days, Michelle, when we don't feel in love, but that the love is yet strong. And in order for us to have that, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to be in a place where your heart is healed from hurt of the past. I call these things, Michelle, soul wounds. When we are suffering from a soul wound and that thing is open and it's still bleeding, you are going to have major difficulty in continuing to develop a healthy love relationship. Because you know the old saying, family, hurting people hurt people.
You're going to damage the ones that love you.
Listen, and you're going to, as Michelle was talking about, you're going to lash out. Unfortunately, in a relationship, we tend to lash out at the people closest to us, the people we care about the most. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are hurting from some trauma of your past, if you are dealing with emotional trauma or physical abuse from your past, whether it's molestation, whether it was you being abused physically and or verbally, if you've gone through being abandoned, whatever that trauma is, listen, please reach out to me. All right. I am ready to be of service to you. All right. Listen, I bring you almost 19 years of pastoral counseling leadership. So as I always say, Michelle, I ain't new to this. I'm real true to this. I am passionate about the mission of building healthy love relationships and equipping people for purpose. So listen, I'm going to put up this link real quick for those of you who want to have some coaching. You want to have a one-on-one session. Listen, I'm going to give you a free 15-minute discovery call so that you can see, hey, I want to see if G Hightower, if he is, I see all this fancy stuff he got up online, the entanglement coach. Yeah, I want to see what this is all about. Well, listen, I specialize in helping people break free from soul ties and entanglements. And so as part of my new branding, Michelle, I have been praying and seeking God for direction even before 2022. And I was like, God, how can I better serve people? Because while I'm known for relationships, I'm more passionate about equipping people to find out their purpose in life.
Wow.
The church that I pastored for 7 years in California was called the Purpose Center. And that is my first and foremost passion. And so relationships, interestingly, has become what I've become more known for. But I am more passionate about equipping people for purpose. Find out, what did God put you on the earth to do? All right. So listen, there's my link right there, my calendar link, reallovenation.setmore.com, reallovenation.setmore.com. Click that link. You can drop that in your toolbar, click that link and schedule a free discovery call with me. All right. I'll give you a free discovery call so that you can find out if I'm a good fit for you. I don't have all the answers, but I am willing to do whatever I can to be of service to you. All right. That's for married couples. That's for committed couples. That's if you're single as a jaybird, and especially for those who are still trying to figure out, God, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? I got you. Listen, now, if you're in pain, if you're frustrated, if you've been battling with depression and you're trying to figure out, I really want love, like Michelle just said, I really want love, but sometimes I'm kind of closed down my heart. Sometimes I'm, shout out to Rick James and Tina Marie. Sometimes I'm cold as ice. Sometimes I'm cold as ice, right? From something that happened long ago. Yeah. And you're in that place and you will remain in that place, family. This is true for all of us. We will remain in that place until we address the soul wound. The soul wound, a wound of the soul, which consists of our mind, our will, and our emotions. That soul wound is just like a physical wound.
Yes,
if you get a physical wound and you get cut open, if you address that wound, it will become infected. Over time, Michelle, guess what happens if a part of our body is infected and it goes untreated? It may have to be amputated.
True.
So that you can save the whole body. You have to cut that off.
True.
So I really want to encourage ladies and gentlemen, couples and singles, please reach out to your brother. Listen, there's my link right there, reallovenation.setmore.com. I want you to reach out because I am here to be of service to you. All right. I want to help something to that. Everywhere I can. Yes, Michelle, go ahead.
No, I just want to add this because I never got counseling. And over the years, I'm 52 years old now. And I really should have gotten counsel. It's so many people who are suffering in silence. We're trying to dance over it. You're trying to shout over it, trying to speak in tongues over it. You're trying to have, career jobs over it. And you don't take the moment to invest in yourself. And this is what he's saying, like, take that moment right now and give him a call or what have you, because you need it for you. In order to make it to the next level, you may say, well, I don't trust everybody, with what I'm going through. Then you're sitting there saying, I'd rather be stuck And I'd
Right.
rather be bound, because when you open up your mouth and you share, it is a form of healing. That's why I do the show, Keep It 100. I bring people on my live and I let them be transparent, because I'm always like, shoot, I'd rather for me to tell the story than somebody else to tell the story, because it's healing for me. So, I mean, you do not have to suffer in silence. Even preachers, it's people out there who are preaching and prophesying and they're accurate.
Yes.
And they're helping other people get healed. But when the anointing lives and you go home by yourself and you deal with that issue that is at hand, listen, it is an awful feeling to suffer in silence. I
It
know.
is.
Especially when you have so many people around you, and people are pulling. And there comes a time when you don't have anything else to give. So you've got to invest in yourself so that you can be healed, not just healed, but behold. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, okay? So there was a man. We all know the scripture about the man that went to the water, the pool of Bethesda,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lord said
He
that
was laying there for 38 years.
he dealt with it on that same bed for 38 years. And all he had to do was go to the pool and step in. And every time he asked, they asked him, do you want to be healed? He said, well, every time I go to try to step in, someone steps in front of me, which was an excuse. It could have been the truth, but it was an excuse, because you're right beside the pool. All you got to do is step in. And so God said, do you want to be whole? He didn't even say, do you want to be healed anymore? Do you want to be whole? And so
Yes.
that's when I want to stop there, because that's the question. Do you really want to be whole? Not healed, but do you really want to
You
be
want to be
whole?
whole. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
because we can do this, the mask it up, the makeup, the Louis Vuitton, the red bottles, and all that kind of stuff, because we're trying to get people to draw attention to our outward. In your heart and your mind is jacked up. So invest in yourself so that you can be whole and healthy for the individual that God is going to bring to you. I mean, I just think that that's powerful. And it may be an area in your life where you have not gotten to. I believe that help me will be able to walk you through the process of what you can't do, but what
Yes,
you can do, take care of what you can do so that you can be
absolutely.
whole.
Absolutely, Michelle. Well said. Listen, I have been through some things, the sudden loss of my dad, divorce. And you know what I did, Michelle? I sat my tail down and I
Yeah.
went and got some counseling. Listen, now I am not a licensed counselor. I am not a licensed therapist. Okay. I am a certified life coach and I bring you experience as a pastoral counselor. All right. But some of you may need licensed therapists. And if you do, I can recommend some to you because I am blessed to have a community of licensed therapists, marriage family therapists, psychotherapists, a couple of people in my community who have PhDs in psychology and psychotherapy. So I can be of service to you. So again, just click my link. And then once we have our free discovery call, I'll know where you are and you can share with me what your feelings are and what your experiences are. And I'll best know how to serve you. Because again, I don't have all the answers. I can coach you through some things. And even in coaching, my job is not to tell you what to do. My job is to point you in the direction of solutions that are going to be beneficial for your life. And it's up to you to make the right decision for your life. All right.
Can you put me on that list? I just really believe, listen, real talk. I believe that I know that this is God because
Amen.
I'm sitting here all day. The reason why I was home is because I think it might have been like 4 years ago. The guy that I was engaged to commit suicide on Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? And so I shut my heart and everything. I shut it off on Valentine's Day. So today I celebrated other singles and their singleness to make sure that other singles were happy. But I'm sitting here in the dark, just chilling like, okay, I need to move. And so as you were talking, I'm saying to myself, yeah, I think I need to talk to somebody because that's an area that I've never talked about. And I keep it 100 about everything. I'm very transparent about everything.
Yes, you are.
This here, I just literally was like going through his pictures like, dang, like what happened? So I've never shared that part of my life until today, until like literally just a while ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Michelle, I am so glad you did. There have been so many wonderful comments. People are really being blessed. You all, again, go ahead and hit the share button. I'm getting ready to bring Christine in. Michelle, can you stay with us for a couple more minutes?
I can. Yeah. No problem.
Okay. I want you to hang out because I'm going to bring in Christine Foster, and add her to the conversation. What we're talking about tonight, family, and I want to shift the conversation again. What I want to talk about, family, is all about your love readiness. Because a lot of y'all saying that you're ready for love, you're saying you're ready for marriage. But I found out, Michelle, a lot of people are not in a state of readiness as much as they are suffering from loneliness.
That's good. True. True.
And so I want us to get love ready, relationship ready. All right. Not just want to have somebody in your life because you're lonely, or let's keep it a buck. Come on. Let's keep it 100 with Michelle. I don't want us to just want a relationship because we're horny. Exactly. Oh, me so horny. Oh, exactly. Me so horny. You know, no, boo. Listen.
Yeah.
You're going to mess somebody else up because you want to get with somebody just because you're horny. Listen, we ain't trying to get with that. All right. We're about building healthy love relationships up in here. Yeah. All right.
So all you're doing is creating extra soul ties unnecessarily. That's a whole subject.
Exactly. Listen, let me bring my girl Christine Foster in the building, and she's going to jump in and be added to this conversation. Hey, Miss Christine, good evening to you.
Doing it right here. Can you see me?
No, we can't see you yet.
Okay, there you go.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there.
Not quite.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Now you got to do is sit down. And we'll have you right in the screen.
Okay. Wait a minute. This way.
This is Miss Christine's first time being on camera with me.
Oh wow.
Okay, we see in the bedroom. We see
everything with her.
The fixtures on the walls. They got the nice paint and all this here. You know, show us the kitchen. Show us some of that good Jamaican cuisine. Praise God.
We're not cooking tonight.
Not cooking tonight. Christine, it's good to see you. You look lovely. Look at you.
I was all ready. You know, I pull out my carrots and everything.
Yeah. I see you. I see. You look good, Queen. Listen, everybody didn't have Zoom, and I didn't want anybody to miss out. And as you see, God blessed us with Michelle Applewhite coming in here tonight. So I'm just grateful that we made the shift because I didn't want anybody to miss out tonight. So welcome, Christine. How are you, my dear?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. And how are you on this wonderful love day?
Always blessed. Always blessed. Too blessed to be stressed. Listen, let's jump right into it. Christine, listen. As a single woman, a single seasoned woman, what do you find, Christine, are some of the biggest challenges for you as a woman, being seasoned, being established? What are some of the challenges, the biggest challenges you are finding in connecting with men?
Okay. First of all, I must say, Don, Michelle, I really appreciate you. Thank you for sharing. You really sit in my heart, and I love you.
Wow.
Okay. Some of the. Wow, that's a packed question. Okay, I found out.
Let me share. Christine, do you have another device going on? Because I hear some background noise.
Yeah, it's like an echo.
Okay, I'm turning it down.
Okay, so you have two devices going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So I found out, I've been on your broadcast. I've been following you now for 5+ years, and I'm very blessed to you really downpour, COP, doing your work, healing, investing in being the person that you want someone to be. And I'm finding that the men of God love them, mean it, all of them, but I find that they are not emotionally available. They're not emotionally.
I'm finding that a lot of men are not emotionally available.
Exactly.
Okay.
And see, no judgment, no benediction. I absolutely love my brothers. Color, non-color, all of them. Very general, okay? However, I'm just praying that, us ladies, we spend time, we spend a lot of money, we get coached. I have like mentors, I do go to counseling, yes. God plus counseling, wholeness, and I've been through deliverance. I've learned to embrace that. Okay. And it unpacks a lot of deep things. Like Donna, I went through a divorce, adultery divorce, and our first son was murdered. So I had a lot of things happen that I didn't know how to act. I couldn't speak in tongues. I mean, as much as I prophesy, I'm an evangelist, I'm a prophet. Know that I needed a licensed Christian counselor to teach me how to impact and how to alleviate the pressure and the stress in my psychic, in my emotion. So that's what I'm at. They're emotionally unavailable, and they say they want love, but they don't communicate.
You find that you're having problems with the men communicating. All right, so listen, let's get deep into it. Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex. Okay.
Let's get into it. Listen, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that are coming in, welcome to the Late Night Love Chat. This is your brother G. Hightower, the Entanglement Coach. Thank you for tuning in. I have my beautiful guests with me, Michelle Applewhite and Christine Foster, two beautiful women of God who I love and appreciate and respect. And I want us to get into this conversation because, listen, we got to talk about it because, unfortunately, the church historically has made sex a taboo subject. Can't even mention the word sex without somebody saying you got a demon. Hold on, baby. Don't you be talking about sex up in here. That's the devil, child. That's the devil. You heard me? And we ain't talking about no sex up in here. You have sex with your husband. But mother, I'm an unmarried woman. How am I gonna find out about sex if I don't talk about it? Well, baby, God will teach you everything you know. Listen, baby, God will teach you the Holy Ghost. That's why you got the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost will teach you everything you need to know, sugar. And the truth of the matter is that's not true. All right? Listen. The Holy Ghost is a teacher, and we thank God for the gift of the Holy Spirit who lives in us. Howsoever, you have to have communication if you want to have a good love situation. So listen, so let's talk about sex. So ladies, I'm sure both of you are beautiful ladies. I'm sure men are always being drawn to you and perhaps making advances and all that kind of stuff. But I want to talk about in the ideal situation as you both envision it. And Michelle, I want to hear from you first. How do you position yourself to get an understanding with a gentleman regarding sex and finding out if you're sexually compatible without actually becoming sexual?
That's good. Okay, so they don't know me. This is your platform. This is my topic. Yes, I'm a woman of God, and I love sex. I want sex when I get married. And I know you're not supposed to have sex. So I'm a watcher. I'm looking to make sure to see whether I'm just being transparent. I'm looking to see if you're interested in me. Because as some men, I've been in a relationship with someone and I wasn't sure whether he was interested in me. He never, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so
he never had a rise in his Levi's?
Not one time. So I didn't know whether he liked me or he liked my brother or I was just totally confused. But everything else in the relationship was great. But we never talked about any of that. Like when we kissed, he kissed me on the side. I'm just like, let me know that I'm not saying, hey. I'm not saying, hey, have sex with me, but at least show me some kind of sign of something that you want me. So I've learned from that I ask 1,000 questions. It's good to ask if you're in a relationship with this individual. Listen, you're not going to go to hell by asking questions. Because he may have a problem. He may not want sex, So if he doesn't want sex and this is who you love, you've got to find out some kind of way to be intimate. Because first of all, as 2 years old, I realized you can be intimate with an individual that without sex, if that makes sense. Like you give him that right rub or that right touch. And that way, that's a love language. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, make sure that you bring it to the table, have that conversation. He may not like to be, he may not want you underneath of him, and you may be a clingy person. You know, have that conversation. He may want to be massaged or what have you, but he doesn't mean that he wants sex. So you got to know what his love language is. And I think most people don't know what each other's love language is. Do you want to be, I'm not married, but you know, do you want handcuffs on? You know, do you want me to control you? Do you want on top? You want me on bottom? Like, just ask those questions, because listen, if you don't ask those questions and then you get in a relationship or you get married to that individual, you can't expect for him to be Harry, the person that you was with, you know, 3-4 years ago, and you know, want this man to throw you against the chandelier. No, he might want to just make love to you, and you want rough sex. Y'all need to have that conversation and ask questions. I don't think that we have those conversations. I think that those are healthy conversations to have. Only when you're going into a relationship and you know, I'll say when you're courting and you know that you're looking at this individual as in to be your husband or your wife. Like, it's nothing wrong with sitting and having that conversation. And then I'm gonna also say this, because when I was in relationships, and I'm the only one on the screen. So when I was in relationships, because I had been raped.
I'm here, Michelle. I wanted you to just go forth and talk to the people. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, you solo right now. Go ahead.
So
I'm gonna bring Christine back in too. Go ahead.
Okay, so because I have been raped and I have been molested before in my life, you know, from family members, from, you know, family, best friend, family members, all that kind of stuff. I did not know I didn't understand that sex did not mean love. And so I always wanted sex thinking that meant love, always laying on my back to say, hey, I want to show you how I care for you. But as I got older and I realized that, listen, I'm attracting nothing but dogs here. Like, I'm giving up all of my goodies. Now, I was a virgin until I was 19, but I was a touched virgin. I did everything except for penetration. But as I got older and I started like loving me and started respecting myself, I realized that, wait a minute, yo, this right here, this is a gold mine. The cookies, listen, women, your cookies is a gold mine. And this is what he wants. He may want your heart, your mind, and your soul, all that. But at the end of the day, your cookies is what he wants. And when you realize that you have the power, you hold on to it and you make him get to know you. You know, you make him get to know you here. There is a such thing where a man can make love to your mind without touching you. There's a thing where the man or you can make love to an individual with just your words. And, you know, and I don't think we operate those things. So have that conversation with the individual and take sex off the table. Make him want you. Make him desire you. You know, we are dainty women. Most men, they love a dainty, soft woman. But we're so used to protecting ourselves. You know, because I have been raped, I wanted to be on top. When I had sex, y'all, I know that sex is a sin and all that kind of stuff, but I messed up. I messed up a whole lot of times. I messed up a whole lot of relationships because I wanted nothing but sex. And then when I was finished with them, I didn't want them no more. And it messed up good relationships. So make sure that you're healed. If you've ever been molested or if you've ever been raped, make sure before you come together with a spouse or even in a relationship that you get healed, because if you don't, you'll make sex the biggest picture, and sex is not the biggest picture. But make sure you have that conversation, because listen, he didn't do what the other person did. That was the other person. That wasn't him. He didn't do anything. God could be giving you a good thing and you could mess it up because of the fact that, you know, well, sex means he loves me. No, but sex don't mean that he loves you. That does not mean that he loves you. When you get married, it'd be a great expression of love you, but that's not what it means. So make sure you have a good, healthy conversation and ask questions. Can you get hard? You know, I don't want to say how big is your penis. That might be pushing. Can I say that on the show? Sorry about that. Listen, but you want to know, because don't nobody, you want to know. I just leave it like that because I'm very transparent. But you want to know. And men, you want to know about her. I don't think it's important to ask how many people you've been with. I think that's none of your business, unless you guys have a relationship like that. Because 9 times we're like, oh, that used to be my ex-boyfriend. And now he's intimidated. Your man you're with is intimidated because you then shared that this is your ex-boyfriend and all the sex encounters. There was nothing but sex. And so when you have a conversation with that individual, your man is intimidated because he's trying to figure out, well, what's going on? You know, why is the connection still there, even with best friends? But I'm gonna go ahead because I can go on and on. So go ahead.
No, you are good. You are good. Listen,
this is my topic. I just really feel like, you know, sex is overrated. Get someone who wants to know you, but God, make sure that you are sexually attracted to them.
absolutely.
You
absolutely. No, you are absolutely right. And I love that. I love that dialogue because it's necessary. And listen, ladies, you can't be afraid to ask questions. And the only thing I would encourage all of my sisters in the questions that you need to ask is make sure that you frame the question in a way that's going to get you the results that you're looking for. And you want to get a positive result. When you ask a man a question, especially when you're getting into personal things about sex, and you know, you may want to have a question about size and those kind of questions, you want to frame the question right. What you don't want to say, lady, let me put it like this. I always teach this principle in my workshops and in conferences, Michelle, that presentation is everything. There's a way that you can say, grandmama's taught us. It's not about what you say. It's about how you say it. You can ask a man anything, ladies, but it's how you say it. Yeah. How you couch the question will help you get the answer that you need. For example, if size is important to you, then you can frame the question in a way that doesn't make a man feel reduced or minimized in some kind of way.
Ladies, just give him that soft voice.
Ladies,
give him that soft voice. Give him that real soft voice.
Well, yeah, it's that, but it's also the wording of the question. For example, ladies, just as much as you don't want to be body shamed, if a man were to look at a woman who, let's just say that her breasts are not large, right? And if a man says, dang, what's that? What are you, an A cup? That's going to make a woman feel horrible.
Exactly.
Especially if she's a woman who's been through breast cancer and maybe she had a mastectomy. Yeah. That's going to make a woman feel horrible. Yeah. This is one of her worst nightmares that she did not want to have to endure. Yeah. But now here she is, got to deal with that, right? But if a man frames the question in a different manner that doesn't make a woman feel torn down, but he says something to the effect like, you know, I personally like a woman who is very free with her body and very open to the expression, no matter what size her breasts are, butt is, and whatever. Now that can make a woman feel more comfortable in having a conversation about her body versus feeling like she's being judged and criticized because maybe she doesn't have this part or that part, right? And so, ladies, the same thing is true for us men. We're not wired emotionally the way that you are, but we have emotions. The reason why, ladies, that many men are emotionally unavailable or lack emotional intelligence is simply because we were not trained emotionally. We were not brought up in the way that the ladies were brought up. As little boys, we were told, get back out there and play, boy. Stop all that crying. Man up and be a man. I'm 8. Be a man. Stop all that crying. Real men don't cry. And that's what was instilled in us from the time we were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. That's been ingrained in us. I always tell this funny story, Michelle, me being a football player, that I played football. I broke my ankle. My daddy is rushing me to the hospital. And you know what my daddy is saying? All right, stop crying now. Stop crying. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. All right, man up now. Man up. It's going to be okay. I'm 12.
I'm hurting.
My ankle is broke. But my dad is saying, man up. Stop crying. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so that was instilled in us. Hey, what's up, Dwayne? What's up, Ray Ross? This was instilled in us our whole lives, Michelle. This was instilled in us on our whole lives. And so men grow up with that ingrained in them. And so men are lacking emotional intelligence because we were always taught to suppress how we feel, not express how we feel. It takes a man to really invest himself into grooming himself emotionally, which usually is going to take a good, strong, patient woman to help him with that process.
Yes.
Notice I say I emphasize patient. ladies, because love is patient, love is kind. And so just as much as you need us to be patient with you, ladies, we need you to be patient with us in terms of our emotional development, because most men were not taught this. So that said, Michelle, and even as you were alluding to earlier, that you stated earlier that you know that you need to sit down and get some counseling. Most of us men need counseling. In fact, I would say all of us, especially us Black men, need counseling. All of us. All of us. Because it doesn't matter if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you grew up in a great affluent family, your family was wonderful, daddy was the bishop, mama was the first lady, you know, you have a stellar academic family and grew up with great wealth and all of that. Nevertheless, we all grow through experiences in our lives where you're going to suffer through, inevitably, you're going to suffer through some level of trauma, and you need someone who is a professional to help coach you or counsel you through that experience. All right? Because we cannot conquer what we don't ever confront.
That is good.
If you've never confronted that emotional issue, that challenge, that trauma that you've been through, then if you never confronted it, you can't conquer it. It's still existing. You might be suppressing it, but it's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see if Miss Christine is being ready to be added back to the discussion. So I want you to go. I want you to go here, Michelle, because we've been hitting on some really, really good stuff, and I know people are really being blessed. So in the conversation about sex and determining sexual compatibility, whether it is wondering if he is physically able to satisfy you, whether he and whatever those things are. Again, I want to conclude this point, and I'm going to give it back to you, Michelle. It's all about, ladies, how you say a thing that will get the right response from a man. If size is important to you, I know some ladies, they say, I don't care what size he is, I can work with it, unless he has a micro penis, right? But with the exception of a man with a micro penis, because studies show, and I know a lot of us, you know, our society is so highly sexualized today, Michelle, that, you know, a lot of women believe that every man is like, you know, he's hanging all the way down to his knee, you know, like some Mandingo warrior. And most men are not, you know, some man hanging down to his knee. And most women could not handle a man who's hanging all the way down to his knee. Oh, no, I can handle it, Dr. G. I done had 3 babies up out of here. And if I done had 3 babies, I know I can handle that. Okay, hunty. Yeah.
If y'all got kids,
and having a baby is 2 different things, sugar. Let me help you up in here tonight.
So true.
Right? So Tanisha said, no elephants, please. So listen. So, Michelle, how, as a woman, how would you frame a conversation with the man to find out if you all are sexually compatible? Because I know, I like what you shared, that this man that you dealt with, he did not show any real interest in you on a physical level in terms of intimacy and that kind of sharing. So the question for you, Michelle, is moving forward, as a woman who desires marriage, how will you engage in that conversation to find out if this man really, really enjoys you as a woman? And how will you determine if you're sexually compatible?
Okay, so I would definitely have that conversation, but there's things I would do leading up to it. You know what I mean? There's different, like I said, put my hands on and seeing if my touch, see if my
if he responds to your touch.
Responds to my touch. Does he respond to my soft kiss? Does he respond to being held? And if there's nothing, there's no wall, then he may not be interested in women, or he may not be that man that may be very sexually active at that moment. And it's nothing wrong with these, but we need to get to the problem, come up with some kind of solution. He may be that individual where you may have to caress him or massage him to get his blood work, the juices and everything worked up. It may be some things that you can do as a woman, but you have to be patient and be willing to do that. And so that if he doesn't respond, baby, are you attracted to me? It's just, I'm trying to be careful because this is a new platform for me. But it's things that you have to ask because you never know. He may be gay. I'm not talking against that, but he may be into men and just want the companionship of you. Because a lot of times it's people who just want companionship, but they're not sexually attracted to you. You have to ask those questions because you don't want to waste 3 and 4 years with an individual who you're in love and you're wanting to be with them when you get married, and then they're not. That's just wasted time. You so
Right.
saying.
I totally agree with that, Michelle.
Yes, and then I just feel like you have to be healthy and you have to be healed because you may have to be patient. Just like if somebody runs in contact with someone who's been raped, you have to take your time with that individual because they may not be all the way healed here. They may be physically ready, but you have to be patient because you don't want to bring a trigger in that individual who has already dealt with trauma. So just because you're fast, Jane, and you're ready to go, he may not be. Or because he desires you and he wants to do it all the time, you got to be patient. Have that conversation. Have that healthy conversation. And listen, again, I believe in this. If you can make love to that individual with their mind, everything else will fall in place. If you can touch that individual and you feel goosebumps or they feel goosebumps or chills, there is a connection, and have that conversation and just take your time. Like you're rushing right into and just giving him all of it. At the end of the day, what did that even mean? It didn't mean anything. You just got a good nut. He can get that from anybody, but you want to give him something that the next woman can't give him. Oh, honey, that right there.
That's good stuff, Michelle.
You can give him something in intimacy that the next woman, because they can go on the street and get cookies. They can get that anywhere.
But and ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know, getting a nut means having an orgasm. Just to explain to the audience, because some people might not know.
You can use a toy for that. So you know what I mean? Like, make sure we're looking for intimacy here. We're not just looking for sex. We're not just looking for penetration. We're looking for, that is the number one thing. We are looking for intimacy, and make sure that the person that you're in a relationship with is looking for intimacy. Can be that I keep saying with the mind, that you can connect here. You can connect with the emotions. You can connect with the touch. And then, man, I'm telling you, build that thing up and you make him want you. Or you make her desire you. You play that little game. Make him come after. Men love to chase, and if you don't make him chase after you, somebody else will put it right in front of them, and they'll chase after that.
Absolutely, we do love that, Miss Christine. In your relationship situations, I know we've talked all open and candidly about situations that you've experienced. What are you finding now as a seasoned woman? You are a woman who's fit and in good shape. Look how beautiful this woman is, y'all.
She is beautiful.
And with where you are in your life, Christine, physically, financially, spiritually, do you find this a challenge to deal with men regarding sex and to have an open discussion about sex without actually becoming sexual?
I do. Well, I'll give you a quick little thing that happened. I volunteer, served at the church Saturday night. I was, went to church on Sunday, and so last night I volunteered at a musical experience at the door. So this gentleman, me, bubbly, smiley. Of course, I'm happy. I'm content. Gentleman came in, I'm smiling. He just leaned over and he was hugging me, and I'm like, and then the lady said, "Do you know him?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." So at the end of it, I said to him, no offense, but I just need to ask you something. Do you always just hug a woman when you see her? And then, I still getting offended, and I said, no, listen to me very clearly. No offense. I just need to understand what just went on, and he said to me, I came in, you were just so bubbly, so full of joy. You just drew me. I just wanted to hug you. And then when he said that, of course, I said, well, would you like to have tea sometime? And of course, he said, "Well, I'm married." I said, "So okay, where is your ring? Where is your ring, sir?"
Wow.
So I'm finding that, you know, 'cause, I work very hard to be me. You know, I'm finding that because, of course, I'm 60 young.
You look
And
good.
60, thank you. I turned 60 young on Christmas. But, you know, I work very hard. I lift weights, I work out. But the minute they see me, see my body and everything, you know, they're ready to go. I'm like, you know what? I put it like this. I said, I am so grateful that you are attracted to me. Thank you so much. However, you know, a conversation is necessary. You know, I
Wow.
calm down. You know what I mean? I don't say, well, da 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 da. You know, I've learned how to stay soft, stay feminine, and you know, compliment him because you know I found out that men, you know, okay, they're real men, but some of them they're afraid of rejection also. So it's how the woman responds to him being attracted, or how they come meet are because of course you're sexy. And you know, okay, I love Jesus. We all going here. Yes, I am very sexy and I'm very beautiful.
Talk
And
about it.
you know, but I've learned femininely, okay, thank you so much. Yes, I work very hard to be. You love me. Yes, I do. You know, that kind of tell them, say, hey, you're not telling me anything that I don't know
But I don't
what I
know.
am. However, you gotta like Michelle was saying, you're gonna make up here first, or we're gonna connect. And first of all, always ask, what's your purpose? Where do you see yourself in a few years? You know, but and to me, I don't mind. I don't have any problem talking about sex, but to me, of course, I'm a full-blooded Caribbean woman. Yes, I do love sex. Okay, I was married before.
Full-blooded Caribbean woman.
Married
Did you
before.
hear that, men? She said she loves her some sex, but she's going to wait for the covenant. You've got to
Yes.
put a ring on it if you're going to have a thing on it. Go ahead, Christine.
So you know, I definitely don't mind, and you know, I'm very comfortable. I'm very confident with myself. I have been absent since 2014. You know, it's not easy, but I work hard. I lift weights, and I don't tell God to take it away. God, you give me this desire, and I say, Father, thank you that I have the patience to work. You know, I go lift weights and I run and I wear myself out. You know, those endorphins,
Mhm.
the same endorphins that you get while you sex, it's the same thing you get while you lift
Yeah.
nuggets. Okay, so I'm not like Dr. G says. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Okay,
What it
I
is.
have learned how to live in a single season. I'm very by nature. Okay, I've been waiting since 2014. My guy, we're gonna do every other day. Okay, we can't. And you know,
Hey,
I understand.
Shondo.
We're gonna
Listen,
do it right
listen.
in.
I've been waiting. I've been trusting God, and we're gonna have a lot of bedroom revivals. Praise Jesus. Hallelujah. Right. A lot of baptized
I'm with
baptism
you,
Bless.
by
sis.
fire in the
I'm with you,
bedroom.
sis.
Hallelujah. All right, I'm gonna bring it back here because I'm
I'm,
getting
I'm
it.
with you.
But listen. There's a place and a time for it. You know, of course, um, to me, you know, because I figure, okay, when I'm coaching, and I know that, of course, intentionality, you don't talk to me unless your dog is marriage. I'm married. I'm a wife in waiting. Okay.
Yes, come
I'm
on,
a whole
Christine.
wife.
I don't want a boyfriend. I don't want a boyfriend. I'm a girlfriend. I'm a wife. Bona fide wife. Yes, I am. All the way live. Straight
All
up.
the way live.
Straight up.
That's
Straight
good.
up. Straight up. No
Well, I love
chaser.
this, Miss
No
Christine.
stuff.
So listen, I wanna jump back into this piece of the conversation because I really want and we've been on, I can't believe, hey, can you all believe we've been on an hour and a half? Like this is so rich, it's so wonderful. And Michelle, I thank you so much for coming on, sis, impromptu. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really want to delve into this piece because I really want the men. I want the men that are in the broadcast to hear, ladies, from you, because oftentimes men are in a space where we're trying to figure it out. And in my years of experience of relationship coaching, I have found that a lot of women, they have a clear idea of what they do not want. But many women are not as clear about what they do want in a relationship. So I want to ask you, ladies, Christine, I want to start with you. I want you to name 3 top qualities that you want, 3 top qualities that you want and need in a man that could be your husband. All right. And let's take salvation off the table, because that one is just understood. We ain't even having no conversation without salvation. Come on, somebody. All right. So we don't need to say, I need him to be saved. I need him to have a prayer life. And then I'm going to need, let's take all that off the table, because that's being hyper spiritual. And the truth is that a lot of people in the church, they can be saved and have a prayer life and still be a mess in a relationship. Right. So let's take that off the table. We're just going to assume that the person we're talking about is a person who is born again. They are spiritually sound. They don't have to necessarily be a preacher, prophet, and all of that, but that they have a sound spiritual life, and that the word of God is what governs their life and their decisions. Now, that said, ladies, Christine, I want to start with you. Top 3 qualities that you are looking for in a man who could be your husband.
Okay, first and foremost, COP is my next big one. Compatibility of purpose. His purpose and vision has to be big enough to house mine. Okay, we have to evolve. That's a big thing. And
now let's break that down, Christine, because that's rich. Let's not run over that like a speed bump. That's rich, because most people, they don't even know what you're talking about. That's foreign to them. His vision has to be big enough to house yours. That's powerful. Break that down a little bit.
Okay,
elaborate on that.
Okay, so all right, I'll tell you a little bit about me. So I'm an evangelist, prophetic evangelist. I do mothers and fathers of gun, murder, violence children. Okay, I'm an adult. So all of that, I am a strong woman, but feminine, okay, to be led. So that means he has to be a leader. This man has to be a leader where I can come up under his vision, okay, and we can evolve, because I'm gonna help me, okay. So he has to have something that I can help him with, okay. That's why when I come into the picture, you're gonna be great, okay, and then we're gonna bring it together, right? And then him having the mission, and I come under submission, okay. Because if I don't have anything to work on, or to help you to become, or to nurture, okay, then we have nothing. Because yes, sex is good, money is good. Yes, you're saying hallelujah. We can speak in tongues, but we have to evolve, because that's the kind of queen that I am. I evolve. I'm always working. I'm not busy where I don't have time to self-care, but I'm a servant. I'm willing to serve. I'm a builder.
Okay. So with all that said, Miss Christine, so tell us, what are those qualities that you need this man to have? Obviously, COP, that's one. So that means you need to make sure that his purpose is aligned with your purpose. Awesome. What are the other 2?
The other 2 is that he has to be trustworthy. Trustworthy. And he has to be a servant. I want to see how he serves. I want to see how he handles his closest friend, his family, his mother. I want to see that. That's very, very important to me.
That's really good, Christine. Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. That's how Michelle says she fell in love with Barack. So her and Barack had been dating. Then Barack invited her to come out. He was doing a community event where he was doing his purpose. He was doing some grassroots organization stuff. And Michelle said when she saw how he cared for the people, she fell in love with him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's like, this man right here. Oh, okay. I can do life with him. Okay. Yeah, he got some. He got a rusty, dusty, barnacle bitten car. His shoes look ran over. but he's a good man. He's a man with vision, and I love that he has a heart for the people. That's what caused her to fall in love. Michelle, Talk to us, dear.
Okay.
3 qualities that you are looking for in a man who could be your husband.
Who can be my husband? I want him to be generous, like
Generous.
very generous. I want him to be trustworthy, and I want him to be strong, a very strong Black man.
Okay. Break down strength. What does strength look like to you?
An individual that can cover. Like I said, I'm a lot of woman. I'm a lot of woman, and that's in a good way. I'm a lot of woman. But I want someone who is very strong, because that's a turn on to me. I don't know about other women, but when you're a strong woman, you want someone, you want a strong man. Man, I'm talking about strong in the bedroom. I'm talking about just strong, just a strong man. Because as a strong woman, you want to be soft. You want to be able to feel safe to be dainty. You want to be able to put your head on his shoulder and know that that is going to be your safe place. And you don't have too many strong men, nowadays. I'm talking about just that strength of a Black man. And that's what I'm telling you, that's a turn on for me in every area. Just a strong Black man.
I love that. Well, I'm going to give you a gentle pushback, Miss Michelle. Unfortunately, ladies, who makes the loudest noise are the people who lack strength. Who makes the loudest noise are the women who are ratchet. Who makes the loudest noise are men and women who are broken and hurting and don't really love themselves, and therefore they're incapable of loving someone else. And unfortunately, within the church world, and especially in the Black community, this is what's happening. So you can even use, Michelle, you and I are both on the platform of Clubhouse. You can even use Clubhouse as a perfect example. What do we see more of? We see more rooms that are ratchet.
Yes.
Black men don't like Black women. Black women don't like Black men. And we see more of that than we see quality rooms of Black men who love Black women, Black men who are open to interracial relationships, Black women who are open to interracial relationships. Interracial marriages are biblical. The Bible is strewn full of interracial relationships, from Prophet Moses being a Hebrew and marrying Zipporah, who was an Ethiopian woman, to there's just a plethora. I can go on and on and on and on forever. But the bottom line is this, ladies, real men, or let me say it like this, strong men love and need a strong woman. I'm going to say that again, because we're going to help some people in here tonight. I'm going to undo a lot of these myths and misnomers. Strong men love, appreciate, and need a strong woman. There is a difference, ladies, between a strong woman and a strong-willed woman. All right? I'll put a pin in that. We come back to that another time.
That's good.
But we need you, and we love you, and we appreciate you. Listen, a strong man is never going to fulfill the totality of his purpose without the help of a strong woman.
Of a strong woman.
Right?
Can I say this?
There is, let me make this last point, Michelle. I'm going to give it back to you. There's so much, men, that we can accomplish on our own. There's a whole lot we can accomplish on our own. I'm blessed. Before my dad passed away, I was able to bless my dad with some things that I was able to accomplish in life. My dad was able to see his son featured in the newspaper, featured on several major television networks on the news. My name featured in magazines and all of those wonderful things. I was able to give my dad those things, and my dad to be able to say, son, I'm proud of you. I could hear my dad on the phone sometimes, Michelle, Christine, talking to his friends and bragging to his friends about things that I've done, and that I was able to give him my NAACP award when his son received an NAACP award. I was blessed to be able to give my dad those things, and he was so proud, and it blessed me to be able to do that for him. But as much as I've been able to accomplish in my life, which I don't think is very much, quite frankly, but as much as I have accomplished in my life, I'll never be able to operate at the apex of my potential without a wife. I need a strong, godly woman by my side, and I ain't leaving this earth until I get her. Because listen, this time next year, I will no longer be singing the Shy Lights talking about, have you seen her? Tell me, have you seen her? I will not be singing "Have You Seen Her" next year. I'll be making up my own song, Christine, talking about I found her. Thank the Lord that I found her. Jump in, Michelle.
Okay, so I just wanted to say that you have to know your definition of a strong individual and what strength is, because a strong woman is not a mouthy woman. As you said a while ago, it's not a ratchet woman. And we get it twisted. We think that's what a strong woman is. No, that's really what a weak person is. You know what I mean? That's a person that operates in fear. I'm not going to let no man come and just destroy. No, you're operating in fear. A strong woman or a strong person is someone who knows how to build a house or build a family and keep the family when you don't have anything. That's a strong individual. A strong individual is someone who can pray and who can cover the person who they're with. That's a strong individual. It's not a person, I can open my own door. I'm independent. I'm this and all in that. Now, a man is not looking for that, and that's not strength. That's not strength at all. A strong person is when a man goes out to travel, he knows that his house is going to be taken care of while he's gone. And that individual is not going to be sleeping with another individual. He knows that it's not going to be another man's shoes underneath his bed. That strong woman can hold up the house and the children while he's gone. That's what a man is looking for. He's looking for strength, and you can be dainty and still be strong, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Amen.
And I want to kind of top that off too, Michelle, because I think, and I want us to understand. Now, what I'm sharing right here, I really want to have a little quick teaching moment, and that is this. It's vitally important for those of you who say that you're ready for love. You say you're ready to be married. You're ready to connect with your purpose partner. Those of you who say that, you have to be consistent in framing your world with the power of your words. Jesus gives us a principle in Mark 11:23. He says, "You shall have whatsoever you saith." And the word saith is not just an old English King James word, but the suffix eth is what we call a present infinitive, which is something that expresses continuous action until you see results. So whatever is expressing continuous action. So in other words, Jesus is saying, so whatever you are saying most often, that is what will manifest in your life. Amen. So now, ladies and gentlemen, if we really want real love, then we have to frame our world by the power of our words. Whatever you're speaking most often is what's going to manifest. When people tell me they don't have nobody in their life that loves them and they don't have any healthy relationships, I know either A, you have not positioned yourself to be found, because if your whole life was work, church, and home, work, church, and home, work, church, take the kids here, take the kids there, back home, go to the grocery store, go make groceries, every now and then, go have a girl day out at the mall and come back. If that's your whole life, you are not positioning yourself, beautiful woman of God. No. You're not positioning yourself to be found.
Exactly.
All right. Especially if you go to a small church and there's no real social gatherings in the church. In fact, in many churches, it's not even cool to associate with people on that level socially in the church, especially if you go to a smaller church. If you go to Good Giza, Greater Ebenezer, you know what I mean? Membership of 25, and most of them is the pastor's cousins in them. You know, chances are that's going to be a limited space for you to be connected to a husband. Right?
You're right.
So we got to let go of those things. But here's the biggest thing that I want to give, and I want to pitch it back to you all, ladies. If you say you're ready for love, what we must not do is make God seem small, like he has run out of good men and good women.
I could dance.
God ain't, I need about 40 people to drop this in the chat. God ain't broke. Yes, I said ain't. My mom is probably watching this broadcast. I'm not saying ain't due to a lack of education. I'm saying ain't for emphasis. God ain't broke. He has never run out of anything. He has not run out of good men. He has not run out of good women. And let me address the elephant in the room. He has not run out of good black men and good black women. We always talk about these limitations. I'm like, where in the world are y'all? Because where I travel and where I'm blessed to go, I see plenty of good women all of the time. And guess what, ladies? Hello. I see plenty of good black men all the time.
So true.
Good black men. I call them, Michelle, Christine, I call them BMWs. Black men working.
That's what I said.
Black men working.
Yes.
Got a job and or a business. Come on, somebody.
Yes.
Listen. So that said, you have to be framing your world with what you want to see and not based on the negativity that you see, not the negativity that you hear, or even the painful negative experiences that you've had. We can't frame our world with that, right? Because that's yesterday's stuff. And I'm not going to let yesterday's stuff govern my future. Come on, somebody. We teaching good up in here on a Monday night. So listen, ladies, I'm giving it back to you. We got about 10 minutes left. I want you all to just kind of sum it up. Let's put a bow around this whole thing on real love. What do we need to be doing as single people in 2022? Christine, I want to start with you. What do we need to be doing in 2022 to connect? Because Christine, listen, I had a broadcast just a week ago. My dear friend, Pastor Jillian Thomas, she came in and pushed me and she says, Dr. G, it's time for us to get together. We need to bring these men and women together. So she's pushing me to host a relationships gathering. And so, Christine, you know, I attempted to do that a couple of years ago. It didn't go as planned. And I will confess to everybody on this broadcast, because that thing didn't go as planned, I really got into a place where I said, oh my God, I'm never going to try that again, because it ended up being a mess and it didn't go the way I thought. And so I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be responsible for people not being happy and all of that kind of stuff. But the reality is, and I confess this to everybody on this broadcast, God has literally placed a vision in my heart, in my spirit, to create events that will bring single men and women together.
Right.
I ain't starting no dating service, y'all, but I am going to provide a wonderful, fun, entertaining environment for single men and single women to get together, because I want to see folks get married. Okay. So I am going to be hosting an event soon. I will be announcing it soon. In addition to that, Christine, I want you first, and then Michelle, I want you to go. What do we need to do as single people from your perspective? What do we need to do as single men and women to come together? It's the pandemic. We got all these restrictions. Some people are locked into their limited religious beliefs. What do we need to do as men and women to come together?
Okay. Well, it sounds like, online, you know, we can do some Zoom, some online things. So me personally, I'm comfortable. I take my vitamins. I do my Psalm 91 confession. I know that if anything happens, the Lord will take care of me. If not, I know I'm not going to die. I'm going to live to declare the salvation of the Lord, and I'm going to get married again on this side. But for those, you know, I have to be understanding, no judgment. No, Bible talks about being a of Christ. So I think it would be a good idea to start out with Zoom, you know, online first, to see how it goes, you know. But personally, I'm ready. Let's go.
I know that's right, Christine. I know that's right. She says he's ready. Michelle, talk to us.
I would say put yourself out there. Put yourself where he is. Put yourself where she is. Listen, if you're looking for a lawyer, everything is not super spiritual. Okay. So you may not find your husband in a good church. So like you said a while ago, if you're just in your local church and y'all only got 4 people and you know all 4 of them is women, okay, your husband ain't in there. Put yourself out there. Get yourself dainty. I keep saying dainty because that's important. Get yourself dainty up. Get yourself dressed up. If you're looking for a lawyer, now I know the scripture says that he that findeth the wife findeth the good thing and obtaineth favor. But he got to find you. And if you always, and I'm talking to the choir, if you're always in your house, he's not coming to your house, especially if you don't like company. If you want a lawyer, you go out there to where the lawyers are. If you want somebody who plays golf, you get out there with your prancy self and get out there where the golfers are. If you want somebody who's in banking or whatever, always show up at the bank. Go to to the PUD. I think it's called a PUD. Like, you got to make sure that you're out there. So if you say, well, she's not in the word, honey, listen, y'all. Then it said that I think it was Ruth. She went where Boaz was.
Yep.
She went. Hold on. She went where Boaz was. Okay. She went to his. I'm not saying go to his bedroom. That's not what I'm saying. But she took another step and she made herself presentable. She went where he was. And then that's when he noticed her. We gotta be noticed. It does, back in the day, the old mothers was like, oh, that's being fast. That's not being fast. It's not being fast. You need to make sure that he sees you. And when he sees you, make sure that you catch his eye. You are presentable. It's not about, looking sexy, showing your body. No, have a decent, wholesome conversation with him. Smile, be friendly, be nice, but be there most of all. So I would say just put yourself out there, because most of us are saying we want a husband and we're not going out there. We're not making ourselves presentable. We're not, he's looking for us. He is looking for us, but we not on our post where we need to be at.
I love it. Michelle, Christine, you all have been wonderful. Listen, in conclusion, I'll say this, ladies. A lot of you are not aware that men love and appreciate. Now, we talked about strong women, and I have hosting right here on my show 2 beautiful, strong women. Strong women are confident women. And confident women have no qualms about approaching a man to initiate conversation. Now, I know, ladies, traditionally, the mothers have told you, no, don't you go over there and talk to that man. You let him talk to you first. What if he didn't even see you? What if he hasn't noticed you? You could be bypassing an opportunity to connect with your future husband, honey. But you sitting back and waiting for him to see you or notice you, and he hasn't noticed you. If you are in a social setting or a church setting, it's hundreds of other people, or at the very least dozens of other people, he probably just didn't notice you. That doesn't mean you're not attractive. It doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. You are. He just didn't happen to see you. Listen, let me speak for myself. Christine, Michelle, I'm a busy cat. When I go to different functions, I'm traveling around the country. Listen, I could see a room, and let's use a conservative number of 100. Okay. Although I go places and usually there's more than 100 people there. Okay. But let's just use the conservative number of 100. In that room, listen, I just got off the platform and just got through speaking, or maybe I'm preparing to go speaking. My mind is locked in and I want to associate, but I'm probably not going to see a woman who's not in my immediate space. So if she doesn't take the initiative to introduce herself, I may not notice her at all. And she could have had the baddest outfit on, got her hair whipped, got that face beat. She took the time to shave her legs and all this hair. But I may not notice her. So then, ladies, if you are a strong, confident woman, take the initiative to introduce yourself. I promise you, ladies, that turns us on as men. Because confidence is sexy. And when you come and introduce yourself, oh my God, let me tell you. Number one, on a social level, Christine, it's an icebreaker. Because now a man doesn't have to fear that he's going to introduce himself and she may reject him. If you are a strong, confident woman and you introduce yourself to us, ain't no man going to reject you. Okay? Ain't no man going to reject you. All right? He may decide he don't want to go out with you that day or whatever, but he's going to receive you. All right. Versus a man that has to walk across the room. He's in an unfamiliar territory. He's in your city. He's at your church or your place of business. And he walks all the way across the room only for you to say, oh, no, that's okay. I'm not interested. Then he's got to make the walk of shame back to wherever he came from. Yeah. And if he has his boys, they're like, ah, and they're making fun of him and all of that. I mean, it's just really, but as a woman, there's nothing wrong with initiating contact. Now, the man should always pursue the development of the relationship. But ladies, there's nothing wrong with you making initial contact. The initial contact speaks to your confidence. It speaks to your strength. And you can bypass a whole lot of hurdles and save a lot of time.
That's
if
good.
you make that initiation.
That's good. And let him see you without him seeing you. If that makes sense. Let him see you, who you really are, instead of seeing your body parts and your shape and all that kind of stuff. We get it mixed up. We want them to see our outward appearance. We know that men are visual, but you want to make sure that he sees and he hears you.
Absolutely.
He sees you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So listen.
One thing too.
Yes, go ahead, Christine.
I'm sorry. And one thing too, ladies, let's be present in the moment, you know, and like Dr. G always said, one day people always say, oh, you're always dressed. I'm not going to leave my house looking any kind of way because men are visual. Of course, personally, I love to look good. You know, it makes me feel great, you know, to get up and I pray and take care of myself, you know what I mean? But be present in the moment. And when we go shopping, just don't be so tunnel vision. Take time and browse. Notice what's in the room. You know, scope your circumference. Don't just bullet through. You know, that's another thing. Men always say, "Oh, they look so like they're busy. They don't want to be bothered."
Yeah.
That's good. That's good,
you
Christine.
know?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this has been so wonderful.
Show nicely. And notice.
Christine, we're kind of losing you. You're kind of in the matrix. Can you hear us? Christine, can you hear us?
Okay.
Okay, we got you back.
I can hear you.
Okay, okay, good. Great shares. Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you both. Listen, we're going to bring this thing to a close, but I love and appreciate you all. Listen, once again, if you all want to connect with me for relationship coaching, whether you're single, if you're dating, if you are married, listen, your brother, G. Hightower, the Entanglement Coach, I am here to serve you. Go to my calendar link, reallovenation.setmore.com. I'll also drop it in the chat here so you can click on that link and just go directly there. It'll take you directly there. But thank you so much. You all please give some love and appreciation to Miss Michelle Applewhite and Christine Foster, these two beautiful sisters, two true women of God who I love and appreciate. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast tonight. This has been wonderful. Now, here's what we're going to do. So I got a couple of comments from my men, ladies, and the men said, oh, wow, Dr. G, this show was awesome. It sure would have been nice to hear from the brothers. So, ladies, Thursday, we're going to come back for the late night love chat. Thursday night is going down. Right. We're coming back on Thursday night. And we're going to have the men come in and share their perspective. Chad, you are welcome, my brother. I'm going to bring my brother, Prophet Dwayne Woods, on. I'm going to reach out to a couple of my other brothers, and we're going to chop it up and have some men come in, ladies, and you'll be able to hear from the men's perspective. We heard from the women Thursday night. We're going to look to hear from the men, all right? Maybe I can have my brother Ron Pratt on also. Ron Pratt, who's a great man of God from Alaska. He just recently got married, an interracial marriage, just recently got married, and he's going to share. I want him to share because he was married to a beautiful woman of over 20 years. She passed away 3 years ago. And going through that pain of being a widow and then making the adjustment in his life. And guess what his wife told him before she passed away? She says, Ron, I want you to get remarried. And his thinking was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to love anybody after you. What are you talking about? She said, you are not a man who should stay single.
Wow.
So when I leave here,
that's when I'm happy.
Please get yourself married.
Wow.
There's my brother right here. Here's Ron Pratt right here. I call my brother, he's most famously known as Papa Bear. He is an apostle, a true man of God, a phenomenal man of faith. And I call him the Apostle of Alaska. So we're going to bring Ron on and a couple of our other brothers on Thursday. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, Ron. I did you an injustice. He was not married for 20 years. He was married for 33 years, 5 months and 17 days.
Wow.
He was married to that beautiful woman before she went home to be with the Lord. Ron, my apologies, my brother. I did him a major injustice. Married almost double 20 years, 33 years, 5 months, and 17 days before she went home to be with the Lord. And God has blessed him now. 3 years later, after his wife passed away, he is now remarried to another wonderful woman of God. And his wife, his former wife, says, baby, don't you get it twisted. You need to take your sanctified tail and get married again. I'm going home to be with Jesus. I'll see you when you get there. In the meantime, get yourself married. So listen, ladies, I love you. Abundant blessings to you. We're going to be coming back on Thursday night. Y'all get ready. Thursday night, late night love chat. It's going down. We're going to be on at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, which is the best coast. You know, West Coast, West Side. Shout out to my LA Rams, Super Bowl champions, world champs. We bringing the championships all the way back to LA. I love you all. This has been so wonderful. This is your brother G. Hightower, the Entanglement Coach. Thank you for tuning in to the Late Night Love Chat. We'll be back on Thursday night, and y'all get ready because it's going to be rich. All right. Abundant blessings to you. Thank you, my dear sisters, Christine and Michelle. I love you to life. And hey, by God's grace, we'll see you next time. Y'all make sure you come back for the Late Night Love Chat. God bless you, fam.